Hey there everybody, Joe here. Thanks for tuning in again. I'm still plugging away at this Harry Potter painting, and I'm liking where the face is going, but it needs work still. Not finished with that, but I'm going to break away. My brain is getting tired of thinking about details of faces, and I'm going to do some of the ground down here with the trees in the fields going up into the fog, and that's a unique angle. Something I really haven't done a lot of is like a sky view of greenery. I mean, I think I've done a little bit. And with landscapes, you know, you do things that are drifting down into valleys, but this will be fun to do it from this angle, like this, looking down and trying to capture that feel of being up in the sky and seeing that hill sloping back. The way I'm going to do it is green first, then black. Greens are real simple, you know. With most colors, I don't just add black for the shadow. I'll usually add a color along with the black to keep it from turning too green, because black tends to turn colors greener than what natural light would do when it gets darker. However, I'm not worried about turning my greens too green. So since I'm doing trees, I'm going to mix this bright yellow and phthalo blue. These are oil paints. This is my top layer that I'm doing here. Let's go, first one, We'll do some on both sides of this tower here. I don't even know if I'm going to keep that tower there. I'll just put it right on the canvas. Now it's going to take just a tiny bit of this phthalo blue to make that turn very green. So I'm sure that was actually too much, but I do want kind of a bluish green because I want this to look distant and maybe kind of a more not like a bright sunshiny look to it, you know, so it's okay if it ends up being on the blue-green side. That yellow is not nearly as powerful as that phthalo blue. Alright, so we'll do that, and I'm thinking here if I want to leave it that bright, yeah, because I'm going to add black to it. I think that'll work good. Okay, now this would be the far edge of the field coming down at the base of this tower, so maybe right down in here. And so I want it to look like there's open field first, because that's how it is in the movies, and then I want the little patches of forest going up onto a hillside with little fields in between. You know, I was looking at a lot of pictures before I started this painting so I could have a good idea of what it's like, of what the landscape is like there. So I like that green. I'm just going to make more of it. Let's put some yellow. For your reference, if you want to know, this says lemon yellow hue and Winton oil makes it. I honestly don't think it's one of the highest quality paints, but it sure does a good job for this. And this is Grumbacher. I love Grumbacher phthalo blue. That is my favorite. I have yet to find a phthalo blue that is such a brilliant turquoise when you mix it with white as Grumbacher's phthalo blue. I love using it for waves. I'm doing beach waves. So oil is a different behavior than water-based, although the colors will, you know, have the same results when you mix. The light colors tend to be weaker with oil. You know, with my acrylic paints, I can light something right up with a light color. If I add white to this, it won't have nearly the same effect as it would if it were water-based for whatever reason. There we go. Maybe, I'm back and forth on whether I want to make it bluer or not. Let's go a little bit bluer. Put a little bit of that in there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is add black after I get this mixed in. So you can see I didn't do like a real even and consistent layer of it, because wherever I put this on heavier, that's where my trees are going to be, and then I'm going to spread it out to make the the open areas. All right, so now, here, let's get this blue mixed in better. Black. So I have this giant tube of black here. I love black. Same thing, went in oil. And I'm just gonna put it up here. You can't see this, it's out of the frame, but I'm just putting a blob of it on the top of my easel. And I'm gonna grab a little bit on the corner of my brush, and I'm just gonna start putting it in between the green. So it's a little bit difficult to see the value difference between, you know, the lightness, darkness difference between the black and this real dark green. That's something I like about oils, is you can get darker shade and still have color. You know, by the time you get this dark with the acrylics, sometimes you lose all the color and it's just turned to a gray. But the oil, you know, you can get very dark colors that if you shine a bright light on it, you're able to get more brightness and then still nice dark. You get better contrast because of that. Shining a bright light on a dark painting gives you more contrast than a dim light on a bright painting. Okay, so now you can see I've got a bunch of little patches of black in here. I feel like I need more because there's still a lot of green in that. So I'm making the space in between the trees. That's what this is. So rather than trying to smooth out the black, I put a blob on there, and then I grab it and put it somewhere else. And if I see a line, the brush kind of just accidentally makes all these lines. Whatever the negative space is left in between my brush strokes will leave skinny black lines. And so I'm not tediously going along trying to make skinny black lines. I just put black down, and then as the brush pushes the green around, it pushes into the black and squishes it so that all that's left is little tiny spots of black. So that's going to be my shadow areas. Then I'll put some of the black around this edge here. We're going to have some trees, some separation between the forest and the field. Okay, let's see if it's ready for the white. That's my next thing. So the white, I'll just put a blob of it right here under this. And we'll just start making little patches of trees. So what I do is I put the white on a green area, not a black area, and then I fade it downward. The gradient is down, so it gets darker and greener and blacker as it goes down. I've already set myself up for this to have the light and the shadow by putting that black in between the green. So now when I put dabs of this white all over, it's just going to look like the tops of trees. Then the black looks like the space in between them. See, then in here, this will be field. Now you can see that that's really bluish, so I have some yellow sitting up here on my easel. I'll grab some of that and maybe some black to kill the bright turquoise feel. That phthalo blue is excellent for bright turquoise, but on something so distant, I don't really want that brightness. So when it comes to my field here, see, that was a big blob of yellow, and look, it only did that much to the color. Put some black in it. Shading green is the easiest of all colors, I feel, because I can just add black, not have to change the hue at all. different. So now we're just bringing it up to these dark areas. I can always add black in there. Maybe we've got a little field right here. Anywhere I put a flat area with this color will kind of stand out as flat area. Let's go. I'll pick the blacker areas for the field, so then I can add yellow and get less of a pine tree green. All right, let's go back to some trees. Tree here, tree here. I'm not thinking too much about making trees, just thinking about my system of just making downward gradients from the green patches. So it kind of takes the green area and puts a highlight on the top of it. See, if I have a lot of white in my brush, I might just go around and put a bunch of speckles of white first, and then get all the white out of my brush. And remember, I'm trying to put the white where the green is. It's not a real strict rule or anything, just, you know, if I get 80%, I'm good. 80% accuracy on putting the white where the green is. Never ceases to amaze me how sensitive an ordinary person's eyes are to these tiny little things that cause you to see trees or not, you know? Like a tiny little gradient, it's because it's a soft edge that blends downward instead of, and then the top is a more of a crisp edge. Yet the entire shape is just tiny, and you see a texture of it. I mean, it's amazing to me that its eyes are so sophisticated. I see it more as the programming that goes into the making the eyes work. You know, like your computer needs programs to know what to do with the hardware. You know, oil is fun. Here I am just talking and having a good old time. I'm not hurrying because this oil doesn't dry. I mean, this might be this cheaper paint actually dries pretty quick. This black, it'll be dry tomorrow. Too dry to work with. The white though, the white I think is like 20 bucks a tube. This particular one that I got in. Maybe it's just the pigment. Maybe it's more related to the pigment. I don't know. I'm not an expert on it, but it'll be wet for a week. Sometimes that white. This is super dry climate here, so not as long as other places. Okay, I'm checking out comments on last week's video. Thank you very much, Carolyn Day, for the nice compliment, and Greg Edmonds, again, thank you for the encouragement. I appreciate that very much. Karen Joyce, thank you very much. Nice compliment. Karen says, thank you for sharing your gift with us all. Hey, what is a gift for except to be shared? I mean, I don't think that talent is worth much if I'm alone on an island somewhere. So I consider it all just, you know, the joy of sharing. Dawn M. Lamb, more great encouragement. You know, I don't know what I would do if I didn't see people saying good job. I hate to say I'm so spoiled by all of these flattering compliments, but they mean a lot to me. If I didn't see them, I would wonder what I was doing wrong. You know, I can promise you that my feelings would be a bit hurt if I didn't see people saying good job. So I appreciate all of you taking the time to say so. It's always real good encouragement to me. Yeah, it's true. As Dawn points out, I'm not using a photo for this. I'm using my memory of the structure of Harry Potter's face to do this. But I have to say, I've done, you know, so many drawings and trying to identify all of these different sticking points. I mean, I feel like his face in particular, I'm just committing to memory in order to do this project. So it's not like I took a glance and I'm just pumping it out. But yeah, definitely a huge challenge. Great exercise. I recommend it. If you want to become quicker at recognizing all of the little things that make a face look like you want it to or not like you want it to. I mean, trying to do a face from memory and messing with all of the different proportions back and forth, it really has helped me to understand what effect different changes have and to have them ingrained in my mind. I mean, I see a certain expression on the face now and I think, oh, that expression happens when I have the nose and mouth too big in comparison. You know, when you have painted it and unpainted it, it's just ingrained in that memory. This experiment has been like nothing else in helping me to recognize characteristics of the face. Thank you, Tina Marie Hennessy from UK. Thanks for that shout out. I appreciate it. Hank Jan Backer sharing a great testimony of criticism here. I think that's really valuable input. Consuela says, it's really nice to see how you struggled to get this done. You see all these artists on YouTube teaching tutorials. They've one thing in common, they've already worked out the painting and have perfected it. You can read the rest of that comment. We really benefit from seeing each other honestly share struggles and not trying to be the one person that has it right. You know, I think that's true in all of life, not just in painting. Simon Gribbler Turley, I appreciate this comment too. Very nice encouragement. To paint an action pose of a real life person, not a comic character, from memory. I don't think anybody has ever done that before. Well, I don't know about that, but this is really handy for building skills to do that exact thing. If I wanted to make comic book characters, these proportions are not restricted to realistic faces with smooth curves and shadows and light. I think it could be used with cartoon characters too, because it's just, you know, it's the height of this, the width of this compared to the height of this and the width of this. If you can get that list memorized, then I think it's valuable for reproducing the same expression or personality on even cartoon faces. I should try that. That'd be a fun experiment. I'm excited about Patreon growing the patrons that have chosen to pledge $1 or more. That really helps us make more and more of this free content on this YouTube channel. If you choose to do that, know that it is greatly appreciated by me and by Ben, who edits all these videos, and by my family. It takes time to do this and always get content on camera that's useful. That little bit of extra money that comes in from Patreon is already helping to give more freedom to make these videos and keep this channel moving along. Keep the content coming. All right, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.